This is one of the, it's the type of person I don't generally like debating, but I did think it was particularly funny how for the first 9/10 of the conversation, he had no response to my like, oh, I'm just learning about this today, and it seems you have some problems with your argument, which is why I did that, by the way. There were people in chat who were like, dude, you should go hard. But like, as soon as you go hard with him, he just doesn't stop talking. And he's like, by the way, I get so much clout from this. I get so much attention from talking to you, which reflects on me somehow. You can't engage with people like that in that fashion because, they don't actually care about anything. They're like empty. Will there ever be a constructive debate with a Tankie? There are some of them who actually believe the stuff they say, but he's not one of them. That was the Socratic method. Yep, that was the Socratic method. 100%. I think you're wrong. He seems like a true believer. I'm not going to lie. Nope. 100% no. The best way that you can tell is that people who sincerely believe something, if they've been blown the fuck out in a conversation, get upset. I actually find that upsetness rather humanizing. But what he did is when he realized he was getting blown the fuck out and he didn't have anywhere to go, he paused to think, well, what's my strategy after this? And then he just didn't stop talking. He fully knows that he's lying. Yeah. That one red pill guy got upset. This is how we knew he was honest. Yeah. You can go and watch my debates, whenever I actually do them. And if you look, people tend to get upset when they really believe stuff. Why do they always fall back to, haha, I'm getting more clout? So this is what I've said before about why some debates aren't worthwhile. It's because if they don't actually believe anything, the only consequence of engaging with me, even if they're saying stuff, the stuff he was saying was so obviously factually incorrect that it should be laughable to any person who's not deeply mentally ill. But they still get attention, All the same, I think I did pretty well. Yeah, they have nothing to lose because their audience is fully accustomed to them just being wrong all the time. Anyway, I think I did super well though. I genuinely don't think that I backed off on a single point. I'm pretty happy with that. He based his entire argument in the Merkel quote and it wasn't even real. Yeah. Was he worse with the jibber jabber than Michael Tracy? No, Michael Tracy is the worst. Why don't they realize how spouting Western propaganda sources will never make them popular to anyone with a brain? Well, conversations like this are basically just like flat earth debates for me because the West has finished litigating this conversation. Nobody is the Russia's propaganda department in the West is done. It's failed. RT literally had to shut down after Comcast dropped them here in the States. They left a bunch of people dropped, unemployed. America will never believe the narrative that NATO started it. That's just not going to happen. The far right might basically defend Russia, but they don't do it by saying NATO provoked for the most part. They usually take this Russia's defending themselves against Western degeneracy, or more often it's the Marjorie Taylor Greene, we shouldn't be giving money to prolong this conflict type of thing. But this narrative of this pseudo leftism, this fake leftism, this oh yeah, actually, if you lie a bunch about Ukraine, it justifies Russia slaughtering their people kind of thing. That's just, it's not a narrative that's going to take root. It's Russian propaganda is less popular now than it has been since the fall of the Berlin Wall. And for that reason, I don't consider talking about stuff like this to be a civic necessity, because it's really just a couple of online grifters who circle around these points. I just think it's kind of a good rhetorical practice to talk to retards like that, I think. Which debate do you think you've had that's the most dishonest and grifty? Jackson Hinkle and this one. This guy is actually better at his job than Jackson Hinkle, though, because Jackson Hinkle, whenever he debates a position he doesn't believe in, he giggles. I don't know if you guys remember that from the debate, but he's so dishonest and so aware of his dishonesty that he's laughing through the talking points with no actual effort to be consistent with them, but he can't help it because he knows that he's just playing around because fascists play with words. Whereas this guy, the Eddie guy, had enough discipline and emotional control to, well, I don't think he came across as sincere, obviously, but, more so than that at least. What about Mel? Mel's not even close. Mel actually believes the stuff that she says. She's just insane. Well, no, she lies about a lot of the stuff, and she knows that she lies. Haas is mad that you use the term jibber jabber. It's mine. Sorry, Haz Aldine. Sorry, Haz Aldine / in for Haz. As a communist, I don't believe in intellectual property rights. It's the one good thing you've done. I'm taking that jibber jabber term. It's mine. Yoink! I kind of find Haas endearing. Haas, at least, plays into the theater. He lies all the time, and he's a fascist, of course, but he plays into the theater and he puts effort into being entertaining. There's also a degree of, okay, I feel like the best word to describe Haas, or not word, phrase, would be fascist esotericism, where he's a fascist, but he also believes so many contradictory, like New Age adjacent things and shifts them around as necessary in support of or against any political point that it feels like you're talking to some kind of retarded mystic. You know what I mean? Like, he's got his legs crossed, he's hovering off the ground, a third eye opens on his forehead, he opens his mouth, and everything he says is fucking nonsense. But it is more entertaining than his contemporaries, I would say. The Nazis were retarded mystics too. Yeah, well, you know. He's streaming you on Kick right now. He's so mad. Wait, is Haas on Kick? Wait, did he get booted off YouTube and Twitch? Man, I guess it's actually a pretty bad idea to... Like, they know they're lying. Why wouldn't you grift on a position that's less likely to run you afoul of, like, YouTube censorship or whatever else? You know what I mean? I don't know. Like, if you're already lying and your beliefs are shiftless and you'll say whatever you need to say to make money, why that? Is mysticism inherently bad? Yes, I'm a Reddit atheist. What's a good way to defeat endless jibber-jabber and overtalk? Well, the best way that I did it initially is by not provoking it. With the first, like, 4/5 of the debate, I avoided it by not making strong prescriptive statements, asking questions, and playing it light. Because people only act that way when they get defensive, for the most part. You should bring back muting your opponent. I don't need to mute him. He looks plenty bad doing that on his own. If I muted him, then people watching would look at him voicelessly mouth his words and wonder, is he saying something retarded? Or I could let him stay unmuted and answer that question for you all. Very silly. All right, well, that was good. I'll check YouTube chat real quick, because after debates, it's traditional. You say hello to everyone. Hey, YouTube chat, what's up? Oh, there's a Haas fan. Jibber jabber comes from our community. Gorilla son, gorilla son, gorilla son, gorilla son. Hashtag MAGA communism. Yeah, well, you know what? As a communist, I'm taking it. It's mine now. That's the nice thing about having a larger audience. When you take things, it becomes associated with you after a long enough time. We'll make it our own. What's up, guys? I see YouTube chat. Hello. When did you realize you needed to do Socratic questioning? It's something that I've been wanting to do and really try out for a while. And I think this basically cements that it's like a functional, it cements that this is like the correct way to deal with that kind of person. Ideally, you would never deal with that kind of person to begin with, but it's an effective one. The main thing to focus on is you can never let them decide the topic of conversation. You always have to be the one to decide it, which I did. I think I did really good there. Like, he tried a million times to pull the topic elsewhere, and you know, you can be patronizing, like, well, we'll talk about that in a second. We're here for a while, and then go back to that. It's insufferable to watch, though. Oh, well, I'm fully being rude to him, but it's warranted. He's a dishonest snake. You know, like, why? I'm being honest. I'm not being you know, duplicitous. I'm just being incredibly condescending, which is warranted. Eddie went on Haas's Kick Lamau. Ah, the Cope chat. Yes, the classic. Every time I debate someone, the follow-up, the Cope stream. Hey, man, you did really good. Yeah, he got owned at the end there. Can we watch it? No, that just gives them more attention. It's fine. Are people like that paid for by Kremlin? Legit question. No, not anymore. It used to be a couple of them were. Like, people who went on RT and stuff, but for the most part, no. You have to be, like, pretty connected to Russia to have any kind of financial tie to them now. Like the Gray Zone types, a couple of them, I think, but not really. Russia doesn't have that kind of money. Then why do they do it? Because they get money from their audience. Read the Cope Twitter thread, though. Did he already make a Cope Twitter thread? Oh, this was just made. There's not even anything to go over here. It's not even a thread, just one post. You were great, clearly stated your arguments. The truth will shine through for those who want it. Hope you did well. I tried to watch, but it was just 30 seconds of him laughing over what you were saying. Hate him, can't watch. It was awesome. You tanked him, have nothing. Obviously, like, this is what I mean about no outcome debates. There's nothing he could have done to make his audience disappointed in him. Apart from, like, apologize. Like, there's no, like, he can't say anything wrong enough for them to be disappointed. If they were capable of that, they wouldn't be his audience. It just further convinced me debates are worthless in terms of accomplishing anything intellectual, and all that matters is optics and previous bias/viewpoints. Sorry you got talked over anytime you tried to speak at the end, or were accused of reading a chat/script. You did well. Hard to drive home your points when you're being interpreted the whole time, having to deal with gaslighting, debate tactics, and general immature banter. Do you think these guys get off on supporting genocide for clout or money, or do you think they just don't care? I think a lot of them Just see it as like business is business. I don't think it's like an ideological thing. I think that for a lot of them, like they'll just support any, like whatever. Keep in mind that Haxon Jinkle, or whatever the fuck his name is, was like a diehard Hillary Clinton supporter, originally. And then like he's like it doesn't matter, you know, like they don't believe in anything except power. But I have more power than all of them. And it just goes to show, as frustrating as things may be sometimes, sincerity has done well for me. Do you think Jimmy Dore is any different? No. Jimmy Dore is 100% dishonest, and he knows it. How do you go from pro-establishment to anti-America in the bad side? Because again, it's just money. They don't actually believe. You asking, how did he go from this position to that position, is like asking how like a person's t-shirt color changed. It's not held in their mind. Or I guess I should say it's not held in their heart. It's just a set of positions in their mind that they push for financial gain. They must be miserable? Yeah, I'd say so. Probably. I think so. They're sociopaths, Boteth. Dylan was watching the debate but left to play games because Eddie was so retarded. Watching Vaush debate Eddie, and a man Eddie fumbled. How are you going to give a 20-minute lecture on Ukrainian aggression in the Donbass but not even know how the war in the Donbass started? Dialogue tree breaks after even the slightest of digging. Screw this, back to Red Dead 2. Imagine playing Red Dead 2 on a laptop. Look at all the sacrifices that Dylan is making to support our boys in Ukraine and do journalism. Look at what he's suffering through. Yeah, I didn't even get to talk about how the right sector had, like, no electoral power. Vaush, also the sniping was done by the government. So, this is what I mean about narrative control. When you're talking with a retard like that, every subject that you discuss is going to take a million years because they're never going to back off their positions because they don't actually believe them. They're holding them for monetary gain. So you have to be very careful about what you choose to talk about. Now, the thing with the snipers is like any engagement with that, even if you're right, is going to involve like the litigation of a bunch of documents and bits of proof to like get on the needly-weedly little, you know, and whether or not that point or position is true is irrelevant to me. Seriously, the broader argument that we were having is actually completely unaffected by who was doing the sniping in the Euromaidan protest. Now, I think it was the government. I don't believe the conspiracy theory that it was all like U.S.-trained right sector guys who did this, especially since, again, Yanukovych's government had just legalized lethal force against protesters. Like, they just did that. You know, it's not that nobody forced them to do that, except Putin, arguably. But it doesn't matter. You know, with people like that, you have to focus on the points that matter. I hope one day I can meet, like, a sincere defender of Russia in this conflict, because I would really like to hear from one of them. Why do you think NATO wants war with Russia? Because my answer, on the other hand, is I just think Putin is irrational. I think single individual leaders are capable, especially when they're far right, of being like expansionist and crazy and destructive, because this has happened throughout history. But the idea of NATO, this like highly bureaucratic, multinational like alliance with all these different checks and balances and systems where everything has to be run through committee a million times, how does it benefit Western capital to provoke nuclear war? It doesn't. I'll never get these answers.